Are you depressed? Why are beautiful people the most bullied? Let's get into it. And what I'm about to say might surprise you. So, and some of the best insights come towards the end. So get your popcorn, get your something nice to drink, put your, water, something nice to drink, something healthy, maybe something warm. Kick your feet up and just take this in, because I'm going to tell you some things you might not expect about why beautiful people are the most bullied. Now, you might say that, maybe you're being bullied in whatever environment, and you're thinking you don't feel particularly beautiful, you don't feel particularly desired, or you think they're bothering you because you're not beautiful, or now, beautiful people are the most bullied because they have something that the bully wants, envies, thinks about, sometimes obsesses over. And they can convince the one who's being bullied by doing it over and over again. People have talked about how repetition is how you convince people in business and in other areas. That's an historical discussion you can look into. But they keep telling you something negative about yourself over and over again. And then they get others to say similar things to you, or to give reactions to you that make you feel similarly. Or maybe they try to conscript in people that seem like they're not even in the situation. So you think, oh, this is coming from multiple directions, multiple people, some people who don't even know each other. Maybe this thing that they're saying is correct. It's one of the tactics. But bullies do not bother you unless you are beautiful. And really, a beautiful person is a person who loves, who is kind to others, and when these bullies see you, maybe you have a dream. Maybe you have a dream and one day you're going to come up with some kind of something that can fight an illness or help people to fight an illness, even whether it's something physical or it's information that will help vast amounts of people, even though one is valuable enough, but vast amounts of people to be well. You have that in your heart. Or if you're a painter, you have the dream to create paintings that will inspire others, move others, help those who are feeling troubled, help those who are feeling depressed, inspire others to make moves in their lives that they would not have made. Or you're a singer, songs that people can take into their private moments and that begin to reshape their thinking in the right way. There's so many things that make you beautiful, including your outside. Many of the things that are called beautiful in one century or in one decade or in one part of the world can be thought of as the opposite by people in another decade or another century or another part of the world. So physical beauty, even the shape of someone's nose, the length of their hair, whatever their legs are long or short, if they have a long neck or not, if they have broad shoulders or narrow, all of these things you might think, living in the time that you do, that this is just inherently what is beautiful. But if you really look into history, and if you really look into places all over the world, you will find that what was valued could be totally different in another time and place. And often, and let me tell you something that people, may not tell you, often it's just people who are in positions of power, people who are wealthy, people who can, by repetitive means or just presenting certain things to you, you start to believe this is what beauty is. And it may be beautiful, but the idea that that's the only thing that's beautiful, and you don't happen to have it in that century or that decade or in that part of the world, is where the difficulty comes in. You might say, oh, that sounds nice, that sounds, oh yes, that's very, but no, literally, there are features that you have that in another time or place would have been so emulated, revered, desired, and could be in yours if you yourself got into a position of power, which it shouldn't take. But if you yourself got into a position of power, or you yourself became widely known, or somebody that looks like you, people are going to potentially attribute positive things to those features. And especially if they're presented in media. Today we have digital, means. But there are so many ways that ideas can be conveyed. And if in books, let's say before these other media came to be common, it's just a description. The woman walked in and she had XYZ, and she looked at him and he was XYZ. And then just reading that over and over, you say, oh, okay, this is the hair color, eye color, hair texture. These are the things that are beautiful. You keep reading it. And then, or you keep seeing it in paintings, or those who are wealthy, are in paintings, and you begin to attribute those positive attributes to whatever it is those in powerful positions have. So yes, you're physically beautiful as well. And there are, with bullies, they're very, very broken. Very, very broken. And they want you to feel broken as well. They want you not to have confidence. They want you, because if they can get you to question who you are in terms of your physical appearance, in terms of your ability to communicate, in terms of the ideas that you're cultivating, in terms of the confidence that you gained when you went on certain adventures in nature, safely, of course, when you spoke up for yourself, if they can get you to diminish any of those things that help you, then they can squelch perhaps the ideas that you have, something that you're going to bring about, which makes them feel threatened, either because it would change the status quo and they feel empowered by what is the perceived status quo, or you as an individual reminding them. Because people, when you're a kid, nobody says, oh, I'd like to be in a position where I'm working for a minimal amount per hour, much less than what I'm worth, and I'm struggling from day to day just to pay for minimum things. Nobody says that as a kid. So many, many people, let's just put it that way, are not living their dreams. But if you are reaching up, aspiring, if you are stepping away from that every day and could have that astoundingly beautiful experience, just even to be financially secure. And so you can go out in the morning and say, oh, I just want to spend from 9 to 12 p.m. just walking in nature today. That's what would be most exciting for me. There are many, many people who just could not do that because of the obligations that they have. But you, if you have different ideas, if you have different ways of doing things, if you bring something to the marketplace that is desired, that is useful, that fills a certain need, and you're rewarded for that financially, even if you're 8 years old, 10, 12, 20, 9, or 90, the bully doesn't want you to have that kind of access, that kind of freedom, that kind of viability, versatility, excitement in your everyday. Not when the bully is themselves feeling broken, feeling like they never achieved their dream and they don't know how. They don't want you to then achieve what you're looking to do, if they can't, especially. And that is part of what the culture in general, especially let's talk about in the US, people are starting to say, if you're in a position of power, if you're in a position of wealth, if you're in a position where people think you're so beautiful or striking or able, and you got this into this position from people, either buying your tickets or buying the magazines that you were featured in, or downloading your music or watching your streams. If you have attained a particular point of power and influence, wealth, and you're not helping somebody else, what does it mean? And so many people are looking up and saying, that's not adequate anymore. That's not acceptable anymore. For you to just take all of this stuff for yourself and not care how other people who just want an opportunity, in fact, the perception that somebody in the public eye who's reached some place of success is not only just keeping it for themselves, but is actively, the perception. I'm not saying that this is necessarily the case. Every case is different. And by the way, we are not talking about the beautiful Gigi in this image. This has nothing. This is just a beautiful image, and we're talking about the idea of beautiful people. But when we're talking about beautiful people, we're also talking about the inside. So this is not in any way a criticism of Gigi Hadid. She's a beautiful young woman. This is just to bring forth the idea of beautiful people and how you may not see yourself in terms of what's presented to society as desirable, but the bully sees you that way. Believe it or not, the bully sees your potential. in many cases, more than you do. The bully sees, even if you're not articulate at that moment, even if you have a stutter, the bully knows more how you could become one of the most eloquent people in the United States. We're talking about the US today, but these are global, in my opinion, realities. But let's talk about the US. You could have a stutter now. You could have the most difficult time expressing yourself. And yet you could become known for being one of the most eloquent people in the country. And the bully sees that potential, even when you don't. If you have a particular style, let's say you just throw on a shirt and jeans, but something about the way it hangs on you. Oh, the bully wants to laugh at you, talk about you. Imagine talking so much about your shoes. And I remember, long story short, but witnessing this a long time ago. Oh, these shoes were just horrendous. Oh. And then soon after, that kid who had those shoes and who was being harassed just for wearing those shoes, others started to copy and buy the very shoes. So what is it? The bully recognizes there's something about you. Now, everybody has something about them. Everybody has something beautiful about them. But some people hang on to it longer. Wayne Dyer said, and I'm paraphrasing, something like, everyone is born a genius and then the world de-geniuses you. And, there are cases, if someone has wealthy parents and they can afford to have their kid just play piano all day, just focus on their gifts and talents, they're more likely to be in a position where they're going to be esteemed for the work that they can do. They're more likely to hang on to the idea that they should be prominent or whatever they present should be known. They're more likely to still believe in the power that they believed they had as a kid. Kids are amazingly powerful. And they know, but the bully often just wants to take that away. And again, you could be 90 or more than 90 because there's somebody who's 101 or more and wants to begin painting that they never did. Get started. There's somebody who is 90 and wants to become a ballet dancer, and they think it's kind of ridiculous. Get started. There's somebody that's 9, and with their parents' permission, they want to start a business. And they think, but I'm 9, who could get started? Now, all the regular disclaimers, this is not medical or professional advice. This is just an opinion. Make sure everyone making sure that they're of the appropriate age and everything to listen to these videos because we have strong insights. But these are the opinions that we think can really propel you. Don't let the bully convince you that you are less than who you are, because even that bully sees how capable, how talented, how amazing you are. So tell us your thoughts, guys. Have you dealt with this with a bully? Write it in the comments. Have you had someone trying to hold you back? Write it in the comments. Are you going to go out and do something differently? Write it in the comments. And we'll see you next time.